It kind of showed you that there is a bit of a difference between top 5 UFC fighters and top 10 UFC fighters.
What's up, Barnhill family? Welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So, Nick, great main event last night. Although Mr. 50K Ige and the Zombie did fall short of that $50,000 bonus, slightly edged out by Grant and Vera. I think that certainly was the fight of the night. This one was, however, a close second. This was a great fight, and Dan Ige certainly had his moments early on, but it was just the tenacity and the craftiness and that veteran grit and some good grappling by the Zombie that ultimately won him the day.
Yeah, it's always nice when you see fighters spread the wealth, spread those 50K bonuses around to the other guys in the back. I really liked the fight. I thought it was great. It kind of showed you that there is a bit of a difference between top 5 UFC fighters and top 10 UFC fighters. Korean Zombie, he was looking to get back in the win column, and he did really well last night. I thought he looked really good on the ground whenever they were having the exchanges down there. He also looked good standing up. I wanted to see a little bit more head movement and defensive skills out of Zombie, but he did really good, and he doesn't have a ton to complain about because obviously you got a victory over a very game opponent in Dan Ige.
That's for sure. Yeah, and Zombie, he did a good job of sort of baiting Ige in with that heaviness on his front leg, letting his front hand down a little bit. But, what we saw in the McGregor fight was, Conor was just way too heavy in the front leg, and Dustin kind of chewed it up because it was almost like he was doing something improper, but the Zombie was actually utilizing that as a technique to try to trick and bait Ige in, and was able to land some of those hooks when Ige would come in, thinking he was in range, thinking he could score. And so the counter striking by the Zombie was very good. I do agree with you, though. I would have liked to seen him move his head a little bit more.
Yeah.
When you talk about, he's number 4 in the division, just took out number 8. Where do you go from here type of situation? Right. You have Yair Rodriguez, who's already got a beautiful knockout victory over the Zombie, and then you've got Holloway, and if your head's not moving, Holloway is just going to box your ears off. Right. So when you think about what could come next for him, I think he will still have to go back to the drawing board, even with this victory, and kind of correct and tweak a few things if he wants to try to make that one final run now in his mid-30s at the belt.
Yeah, and he said it himself. He said that his career won't feel complete without getting that belt, and that's a lot of pressure you're putting on yourself. But the Zombie's good at dealing with pressure. He's like, that was his 8th or 9th main event, and I know he didn't really want to be in the main event slot, but I think last night, or winning a victory, earned him another spot at probably a fight night main event, or if he's lucky, the UFC will throw him on a pay-per-view card because he's guaranteed fireworks. He's always a great time to watch. If you're a casual fan, you want to see him in like the main card of the prelims on the big ESPN or ESPN2. That's a good spot for him because you can really expect a great fight out of him. But there's just so many guys, when we talk about where he should go next, there's so many guys at the top of 145, really throughout all of the entire top 15 at 145 that are just monsters with the striking. You've got your straight power punchers like your Dan Iges, like your Jeremy Stevens, those type of guys, and you have your volume, skilled, veterans like Max Holloway and these types of guys, Calvin Kattar, those types of guys. And it's really hard when you don't have really good head movement and you do get hit a lot to win and, win rounds. And he's such a durable fighter. I get that it's hard for guys to take him out, but to win rounds against those types of guys is very difficult. So it is a very tough road for him to get to the title. But I think, we're going to see him in an interesting matchup next, hopefully, because he did the heavy lifting of fighting a hard night out in number 8. They're going to give him somebody that's either in front of him or right next to him in the rankings, because that's only fair. Most guys, they don't want to hear anything about fighting somebody that's ranked below them, right? They want only steps forward. But when you have somebody who's in the top 5 who's willing to take on a top 10 guy and a number 8, you should reward them after they do that, if they're victorious, with somebody that's can pull them up the ladder a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right. And what's even more impressive about this victory was his coach sort of revealed that he's been dealing with some shoulder issues after the fight, and even said in the second round his shoulder popped out of socket.
Oh, yeah.
And then they had to put it back in, or maybe he was able to put it back in himself. I'm not really clear on.
Crazy things happen in the corners of UFC fighters.
I'm telling you, when you're somebody as tough as the Zombie, it's not even going to be known till after the fight. I did not know until I was reading some articles post-fight that he even had a shoulder issue,
right.
With going into, or not going into that fight, but during that fight, rather. But when you look at it, 150 plus significant strikes landed, 3 successful takedowns off of 5 attempts, 3 submission attempts. This was really an excellent performance.
Yeah, it was. I was really impressed. And I don't think Dan Ige's stock goes down all that much when you see just how well he did. He competed. He bit off more than he can chew, fought a top 5 guy. If he would have won last night, it would have really set him up for a big next fight. I think he's going to go back to the drawing board. Will likely draw into somebody probably between 7 and 10, or, he might lose a ranking or so, but he's going to fight somebody right around where he is. And I think Ige's still going to be a problem for the division for a long time coming.
Yeah, I think so. And I think we're going to see him crack into that very difficult to attain top 5 eventually.
Yeah.
I don't think he should fall out of the top 10. I think his performance was certainly as good as somebody who would be considered to be in the top 10 of the division.
Right.
But the fact that Zombie won most of the grappling, we know Zombie has got a really good balance of KO finishes and submission finishes, but so does Dan Ige.
That's for sure.
Dan Ige is a high-level black belt, and he was kind of dominated in a lot of positions last night on the ground. He had his back taken at one point. So the Zombie's continuing to show that even at 34 years old, he's evolving. And I'm excited to see what's next. I would like to see one last title shot for the Korean Zombie.
Absolutely. And he's probably one fight away from getting one, especially because there's some people up at the top of the 145 division that he still has yet to face. And I'm sure it would be fight of the night, a really fun fight for him to watch, for us to watch, for him to compete in. So I'm always cheering for the Zombie. Ige's stock goes up in my book, and I can't wait to see what either of these guys do next.
Me either. Guys, thanks so much for watching our video. Let us know in the comments, who would you like to see the Korean Zombie up against next? And how about Dan Ige? As always, guys, a like, comment, and subscribe is much appreciated. It helps us out tremendously. And check us out on audio where you listen to podcasts. Have a great day.
Peace.